Alright. Well, this show got hell of potential. Alright y'all, welcome back to another rambling review. In this review, we're going to be doing episode 1 of American Gods. Now, if you don't know what American Gods is, it's a new show on Starz, man, and it looks like they take a lot of their stuff. One of my all-time favorite TV shows, one of my top 5 favorite TV shows. In fact, it's probably my 3rd favorite TV show of all time is Spartacus. The Spartacus series and stuff, man. Like, that show is beyond amazing and stuff, and it kind of looks like they take a lot of like the fighting and shit and all this other stuff. They take it from Spartacus and stuff, but it kind of looks like that stylized kind of fighting and stuff, man. But yeah, American Gods is a new TV show from Starz, who is based off the novel American Gods. And I'll just give you a little brief summary on what the novel is. Basically, the first episode is like the whole first book and stuff. But like, it's a great novel. If you like to read and you haven't read it yet, man, go check it out. It's really good. But yeah, basically what it's about is we start off with with these Vikings coming to America, right? And they kind of get stranded over here, so they bring their god to them, Odin. They bring Odin to them, and they, you know, basically what it is, all like somehow, like every time somebody comes and settles in America, they bring their gods with them and stuff. And what's happening is there's a war brewing between the old gods, which is like Odin and Loki and all these other people, and the new gods, which are like addiction, drug addiction, and media, technology, the internet, you know, like you know, stuff like that. Like, those are the new gods, the American gods, and these are the old gods. And the old gods' power has faded away because in order for the gods to live, they have to have, you know, faith. People have to worship them and believe in them. Man, let me tell you, man, this show is freaking insane, right? So, what the show's about is, after, you know, the Vikings bring Odin over here, we catch up with this prisoner named Shadow Moon and stuff. And it's funny because that's the name of a common right. Anyway, so they bring Shadow Moon, like, we catch up with him in prison, and it's 5 days from his release. He's supposed to be getting out of prison and stuff, and he has a roommate called Low-Key Lysmith. L-O-W-K-E-Y Lysmith. And if you can't figure out who that dude really is by that, then that's on you, bro. But he starts having all these trippy ass dreams, man. The first episode is called the Bone Orchard, and he's having all these trippy ass dreams, man. The roof crumbles, and this show is freaking trippy as hell. But you know, all of a sudden he calls his wife, you know, he's talking to her. The next day, the warden calls him to his office and tells him, he's like, yeah, we're gonna I got good news and horrible news. Good news is we're gonna let you go 3 days early today. Bad news is your wife died in an automobile accident yesterday, or earlier that. It was like yesterday, or I'm not really. It's been like 2 days since I watched it, but like, all right. So they let him go, and he goes to get on a plane, and he meets the other main character of this story. He meets this guy on a plane who's played by, and I cannot remember. I think it's Ian McShane. I know the guy that plays Shadow Moon. He was in that show, The 100, I think. And then Ian McShane, you know, he's from Deadwood and American Horror Story Asylum and stuff. He was a Santa Claus killer dude from Asylum and stuff. He's in a lot of stuff. He was in Game of Thrones. He was the preacher dude that the Hound was chilling with in season 6, like, and stuff. Man, it's that guy. He's this dude he meets, right? And he seems to know way more about Shadow Moon's life than even Shadow Moon knows, like, and stuff, right? And you know, and Shadow Moon, you know, he gets on a plane, he gets bumped up to first class, and it seems like a coincidence, but it's not. It's Ian McShane's character. Anyway, they meet, and this guy talks, and he's like a con artist, man. Like he's like, you know, you can tell the dude's like a con artist, man. He's a smooth talker, quick talker, just having stuff go. So they get to talking and stuff, man. And Shadow Moon asks dude his name, and he's like, "What day is it?" And he's like, "Wednesday." He's like, "Oh, it's my day. You can just call me Mr. Wednesday." Well, in case you haven't figured, and he's got like a glass eye, he's got a regular eye. If you hadn't figured out by now, and this is a huge spoiler, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it for you. If you don't want to know, don't fucking watch it. But it's pretty fucking obvious from the episode who he is. But like this Ian McShane's character, Mr. Wednesday, is actually Odin, the god Odin, and stuff, right? So he tells him, man, he's like, he just be like coming up with stuff out Shadow. I had to quit that or I'll start a video or something. But he comes up with all this stuff like just out of nowhere about Shadow Moon's life that nobody else could possibly know unless you were like inside his head and stuff, right? So he offers him a job. He said he offers him a job. He says, if you come and be my assistant / bodyguard, you know, drive me around, take me to places. We got all this stuff I have to do. Drive me around. You know, might have to rough up some people from time to time, stuff like that. You know, I'll pay you well. You'll be well compensated, and blah blah blah. Shadow Moon's like, no, I got a job waiting for me, and Mr. Wednesday is like, no, you don't. like no, you don't. 'Cause you know and stuff. So like he's like, you don't have to think. Don't rush into it. You don't have to decide right now. It's cool. And he basically just passes out, going to sleep. Because one of his 2 things that he's really good at is falling asleep anywhere he wants. But yeah, so Shadow Moon, they land the plane. He rents a car, man, because he can't wait any longer to go to the funeral. He's driving. He ends up at the Crocodile Bar, which is a big thing from the books. And this is where he runs back into Mr. Wednesday again, like seemingly out of nowhere. Like he runs back into him, and the dude's like, "Yo, dude, your wife." And he's like, "My friend has a job waiting on me. I don't need your job." And he's like, "No, dude, check out page 2, or check out the front page." And he shows him the newspaper. Well, his friend Robbie was the one driving. He was in the accident too. He died in the same accident as Shadow Moon's wife and stuff, right? So Shadow Moon, you know, he's all full of rage. Mr. Wednesday, you couldn't want to call him Mr. Anderson like I'm fucking Agent Smith. Mr. Wednesday, he's pressing him about the job, man. He's like, no, he's like, I'm gonna flip this coin, and if it lands on tails, I'm not taking your job. But he's like, just so you know, I rigged the toss, so every time I do it, it's gonna be on tails. And Mr. Wednesday's like, no, bro. Sometimes it's gonna be heads every time, or something like that. And he does it. It does it every time. It's on heads. No matter how a Shadow flips it, whenever he's dealing with that guy. So then like after, you know, if Mr. Wednesday won, then yes, Shadow has to go and be his man or whatever. So all of a sudden, you know, after Mr. Wednesday goes to get drinks or whatever to seal the deal and stuff. I'm surprised there wasn't like a blood sealing of it or something. But this guy comes up, and I swear, dude, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think I'm wrong. I don't know, but he looks an awful lot. There's a guy that comes up. His name's Mad Sweeney, and he's a leprechaun and stuff. And yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. But his name's Mad Sweeney, and I swear the guy playing him, dude, looks exactly like Frank Sabatka's kid from the 2nd season of The Wire, the older one. Not the one that, not the fuck up Ziggy, not Ziggy, but the other one. Nick. I think his name was Nick Sabatka. I want to say it was the same actor that played him as playing Mad Sweeney, but they look an awful lot alike. It could just be the way that dude looked. I don't know. But anyway, Mad Sweeney comes up and he's trying to tell dude that, yo, you might not want to get involved with this motherfucker. Like he's not what you think he is and stuff, and he's swindling you, because that's what he does. And Shadow Moon's like, respectfully, bro, I decline. Kick rocks, bitch. Well, next thing we know, fucking leprechaun dude starts like pulling like gold coins out of thin air and shit. Like, you know, just like you know, basically just showing this dude like, bitch, I'm magic and stuff. Well, they fight and shit, man. It's pretty brutal fucking fight. Like I said, man, this show, if you want a spiritual successor to Spartacus, this show is probably the closest thing to it and stuff, man. But anyway, they're fighting and shit, and then like next thing you know, Shadow Moon gets knocked out. Then he wakes up in the car when Mr. Wednesday driving, and the leprechaun dude, let him keep one of his coins and stuff, right? So Shadow Moon, they get to the town they were going to, Eagle Point, Indiana, I think it's what it's called. I don't know, it's been like 2 days since I watched it. But yeah, they got there, and he goes to his wife's funeral. He meets her sister, but then his sister tells her something that tells Shadow Moon something that he didn't know. That his wife had been having an affair with, it's not her sister, it's her best friend. His Shadow Moon's wife has been having an affair with her best friend's husband for months. And I guess months, for a long time. She don't really know how long it's going, but apparently it's been going on a long time. Some stuff says in the graveyard later on. But Shadow didn't know that. So like they bury her, and man, like, dude, when they bury her, when they put the casket in the ground, like the casket goes and it stops like that. like the button quits working. Oh god, it was fucking hilarious. And it was fucked up because like it's always sad shit, but it was just, I don't know, I'm weird. I have a weird sense of humor, but I'm kind of a pretty morbid guy. But anyway, like so he's sitting there, you know, we get the whole thing that people do whenever stuff like this happens that nobody in real life ever does, is they get out there, they're like talking to the grave and shit, and he drops the fucking leprechaun coin on the grave, like on the like the fresh soil where his wife is buried. But then crazy blonde best friend girl shows back up, and she's like taking way too many, I think she sells Ativan, she took like way too much of that, and like she's trying to like give Shadow Moon head in the cemetery, and he's like, no bitch, like you need to chill out, like you're not thinking clearly and stuff. So like she can't take it, she's embarrassed and shit, you know, and all that shit. So he's walking home, and then like he finds this thing on the ground, and it goes on his head, and it looks like a VR helmet. And all of a sudden he's in the back of this, it looks like a back of a limo or something, but it's not a limo. With another major character from the novel called Technology Boy. And Technology Boy is probably one of the biggest departures from the way the character is supposed to be in the book, because in the book he's like a fat guy. Like Technology Boy in the comics. I keep saying comics. It's a novel. In the novel, Technology Boy is supposed to be the embodiment of the internet, right? So like he looks like in the novel, he looks like that stereotype of internet dwellers and shit that live in a basement and they're fat and all this other shit. That's what he's supposed to, because that's what they keep calling. They call him fat dude and everything. Like, but like in this, he's like a young man smoking frogs. Weird, but yeah, like he smokes frogs out of a weed pipe. It's fucking weird. But he's trying to figure out what's going on with what's that dude? Mr. Wednesday. But Shadow Moon really doesn't know. Like he doesn't know. Like Mr. Wednesday hasn't told him anything about his plan and stuff, right? And he's trying to know. So then he has like what he calls the children, I guess, or the twins or something, beat him up. And it's like a bunch of dudes, man. They just show up and like fuck this dude up. And then they take him back outside and they're still fucking him up. Like still fucking him up and shit, dude. And they go to hang him. Then all of a sudden, man, it starts raining, and the twins just like start flying apart. So I'm guessing Wednesday showed up, or either the leprechaun dude showed up and like murdered the shit out of Technology Boy's henchmen. Like he murdered whoever it was. They filleted all those dudes. Like it's fucking crazy. But yeah. And then he goes back. So now, like, you know, he gets down. The rope that they used to hang him breaks, and he gets down and. Like now, him and Mr. Wednesday are going on a road trip together to do some other stuff. But there's one thing I did leave out that I wanted to talk to you about separately. Now, But before I get to that, let me explain what the premise of this whole thing is. The whole, like most of the first, especially like the next bunch of episodes, probably this whole season really, they're going to, what this story is about is Mr. Wednesday is leading the old gods in a war against the new gods of America. Right? And the whole thing, what him and Shadow Moon are doing, is they're going around and they're trying to recruit different gods of different, and it's not just Norse gods. It's like everybody. like Easter is in it. Anubis is in it, dude. Like, just what I can remember right offhand, it's like Anubis, Easter. Fucking, like, there's so many, dude. Like, off the top of my head, that's one was I can remember, like, off the top of my dome. But, they, like, he's going around and recruit them, and some join, and some are like, fuck that shit, and stuff, right? But, so, yeah. And what each episode, along with what's happening with Mr. Wednesday and Shadow Moon, each episode kind of shows, you know, like we'll see like how a certain god got brought to America, and then we'll also see whether it could be that same god or it could be a different god, like kind of how they're dealing with all the not being worshipped and praised thing and stuff now, like. And like just what I'm saying, like in this episode we saw how Odin was brought over here, but then later on we get to probably the most insane part of this fucking episode. Okay, so hold on. Y'all don't even. Okay. So, yeah. We cut to this, like a bar or something, and it's like a blind date, like an internet date. Like somebody went on an online date. And it's this woman, like a prostitute, I guess. Well, in the book she's a prostitute, but I don't think she's a prostitute. I think she just like met the dude online and shit. But, yeah, cause the dude said you're the most beautiful woman I ever touched and didn't have to pay for. Anyway, so gets with the woman. He say, like they start talking. He's like, oh man, like I've never done this online dating thing, and you know that whole spiel. They go back to the room and they start doing it. And all of a sudden, man, the fucking the woman starts going like telling the dude to worship me and all this other shit. Like, and not like worship you, but I'm talking about like really for real. Like while she's like riding the dude, like worship her, like and shit. And I don't know if that was just what that dude was saying, like if that was like a conscious thing he was saying, or just like he started worshiping her and then like it took over her mind. And I mean, she took over, like, you know what I'm saying, like the trance from it, like just started making him saying all this insane crazy shit about her and stuff, and it was like building her strength back up. And she fucking, it turns out she's a goddess known as Bilquist, or Bilquist, I think it's Bilquist. I'm familiar with a lot of folklore and stuff, but Bilquist I'm not familiar with. She's the Queen of Sheba from the Bible, but I don't know a lot about her and stuff, and I haven't talked to my friend who she's a big folklore enthusiast, and I'll have to talk to her about that to see for future episodes. But she's the Queen of Sheba, and she's like, worship me, worship me. And then the craziest shit I ever seen in my life happens. Okay, this is already crazy. This is already has me sitting here on the edge of my seat, like, well, not on the edge of my seat, but just having me sitting back against the couch, just like this, like, what the fuck? You know, it has me sitting back like that. And then she gobbles the whole dude up with her vagina. The whole dude. Up in the vagina. Dead. Took the whole dude up in her. And then went to sleep. Yeah. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, man. This show is unbelievably good. I was really skeptical about them making a show about this, man, about this novel, because the novel is so good and stuff. And there's a huge twist about the novel that we'll save for when they get to it in the TV show, if they ever get to it. But yeah, but yeah, it's pretty close to the novel, and you know, for the most part. And I was really skeptical about this show originally because the novel's so good that, you know, you're like, what? But the one thing they had to get right for the show to work is they had to get the relationship between Shadow Moon and Mr. Wednesday, like their chemistry had to be good, because the whole story literally revolves around Wednesday and Shadow Moon. Like, it all hinges on those two characters. And I got to say, man, they nailed it. They nailed it. The casting down the line, man, they nailed all that, man, like all of it and stuff. It's good. It looks great. It's shot like Spartacus. As far as like the fight scene when they're fighting and stuff, it's a lot like Spartacus, like that 300 stop motion, that fucking slow-mo Matrix shit and stuff, man, and stuff. So yeah, I highly recommend you check it out. American Gods I'll be reviewing these on Mondays with yeah, I'll be doing these on Monday. So yeah, if you haven't seen American Gods, man, highly recommend checking it out. But if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that other fun shit down below. And as always,
I hate you, I don't even know you, and I hate your guts. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else but you.